Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 4, text number 29. The chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. Apane juvati pranam prane apanam tatha pare pranapana gati rudhva pranayama parayanaha apare niyataharaha pranan praneshu juhuvati. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Still others who are inclined to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. Purport. The system of yoga for controlling the breathing process is called pranayama. And in the beginning, it is practiced in the Hatha Yoga system through different sitting postures. All of these processes are recommended for controlling the senses and for advancement in spiritual realization. This is very, very important verse. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmanitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we can see Krishna here is talking about Hatha Yoga. Now gradually when we go down these verses, he will come to the main purpose of talking about Hatha Yoga, pranayam, breathing exercises, sitting postures. It's all meant for controlling the senses, as Krishna tells Arjuna. And when one is able to control the senses, then and only then one can elevate oneself to the transcendental platform. Otherwise, it is not possible. Right now, we are operating in different modes of material nature. Sometimes we are in ignorance, sometimes passion, sometimes goodness. And Prabhupada says sometimes there is a mixture of these modes. This is how we operate. So from Bhagavad Gita, with the knowledge, we can understand that we need to transcend these three modes and come to the transcendental platform. Now, today is a very auspicious day. It's called Gaura Purnima. Gaura means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself. It's his appearance day. It's a wonderful opportunity for us to learn to control our senses. The first thing that we are doing is hearing Krishna Katha. We are hearing Krishna's words, and that hearing will help us to go to the next stage, which is chanting the holy names. Now, in this verse number 29, Krishna is talking about breathing exercises, Hatha Yoga. Now, Hatha Yoga is not very easy to learn and to perform. You need a lot of practice. We need to, learn the proper sitting postures, the proper breathing exercises. You see, Hatha Yoga teaches the yogi to control the airs in the body. And the whole goal of that is so that they can, be in equilibrium, so that gradually they can become self-realized. Hopefully that is their goal. Is it necessary to do Hatha Yoga? No, not in this age. In different ages like Satya Yuga, meditation, Treta Yuga, fire sacrifices, Dwapar Yuga, elaborate deity worship, but in Kala Yuga, Kalau Tad Hari Kirtana. We get the same benefit just by chanting the holy names of the Lord. So it's not necessary to perform different forms of yoga. No. Hatha yoga, those who practice, they are even able to increase their duration. They are able to control their senses, but we can control the senses with bhakti yoga also. In fact, it's easier. All we have to do is just chant the holy names. And when we chant the holy names attentively, which means we are hearing the sound vibrations of our chanting, then that will lead to control of the senses. And once the senses are controlled, then we will use them wisely. They're very important. If we don't, then the senses are going to go haywire here, there, and there will be no control, there'll be no self-realization. But once we learn to control the senses with chanting the holy names, then at the end, we will be able to go back to the spiritual world. Just like when we are diseased, the doctor prescribes medication, but then along with that, he also gives instructions, do's and don'ts. Do this, 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 and don't do this, this, and this. So even in Bhakti Yoga, we need to follow the do's and don'ts. Do's is chanting, hearing, reading the Bhagavad Gita. Don'ts, they are, following the four regulative principles. Don't eat meat, fish, eggs, onion, garlic. Don't do intoxication tea and coffee. Don't engage in illicit sex, and don't do gambling. These are the don'ts. Now, along with that, we can also see that if we can do some austerity, perform some austerity, like reduce or control our eating. Unfortunately, most people overeat. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains we should neither eat too much nor too little. We should not sleep too much or too little. That is control, that's austerity. So if we can reduce our eating in the sense, eat that is sufficient. In Ayurveda, it is recommended that before we eat, of course, we should eat only Krishna Prasadam. Food that is offered to Lord Krishna, eat only that, otherwise we'll be eating only sin. So in Ayurveda, it says that before eating, we should fill quarter of our stomach with water, and then fill only half of the stomach with prasadam, and leave a quarter space for the air to move for digestion. Unfortunately, we stop eating when we start burping or when we say, oh, I can't eat anymore. That is not a healthy habit. So if we can control our eating also, our sleeping, our talking, if we can control our senses, and that becomes easy when we chant the holy names of the Lord on a regular basis. Then Krishna continues talking about different kinds of sacrifices. He says some people sacrifice their possessions, some sacrifice their time in studying the Vedas, some sacrifice their time in performing different yoga systems. And for all of them, the main idea is to control the senses. And most of them, of course, are interested in enjoying the senses, not interested in self-realization. But if we want to attain that transcendental platform, then it's important that we follow Bhakti Yoga. When we perform Bhakti Yoga, then we will be able to come to that transcendental platform. Krishna tells Arjuna, there is no happiness without sacrifice. We need to perform some sacrifice. And the Vedas, they give us knowledge about what kind of sacrifice to be performed. As I was giving you example of, a diseased person goes to the doctor, and the doctor, based on the disease, prescribes the medication. It's not that all patients get the same medication. No, each one is different. Each one has different disease, so they get different prescription. So the Vedas, they give us a prescription for this age in which we are, Kali Yuga. In this age, the prescription for our disease, what is the disease we have? We are not self realized. We are so engrossed in materialism. We are so much in illusion. And what is the biggest illusion people have is, I am never going to die. We see people leaving their bodies, in our family, friends, relatives, or neighbors, but we feel, I am not going to die. That's an illusion. So the Vedas, they give us knowledge, and for this age, it is recommended mantra meditation, that we meditate on the holy names. We chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. That is the process. That is a prescription given to us in this age. Why are we here in the material world in the first place? Is because of ignorance. And when there is ignorance, when there is no transcendental or spiritual knowledge, then people generally tend to lead a sinful life. And that leads to more reactions. And guess what? We are very fortunate to be in Kali Yuga in this human form of life. It's actually a loophole that we can come out of the cycle of birth and death, free ourselves. And Bhagavad Gita is showing us how to free ourselves. And that requires discipline. In fact, if one wants to be a successful business person, or one wants to succeed in corporate life, or if one wants to become an expert dancer, musician, singer, whatever it may be, austerity is very important. One has to be disciplined. All these sports people who take part in Olympics or whatever, how much austerities they perform, have you heard about it? Hours and hours of practice every day. They have to lead a disciplined life. They have to make sure what they eat, when they sleep, how many hours they practice, etc., etc. So discipline is required in all spheres of life. Regulation, very, very. Then there is a possibility of coming to the transcendental platform and getting liberation. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, if there is no sacrifice, there is no happiness, there is no bliss at all. And these sacrifices should not be based on what we think is right, not our interpretations or speculation or opinions. No, it has to be from the scriptures. It should be the sacrifices that we perform should be based on the ones that have been given to us by the Supreme Lord Himself. They are approved by the Vedas. Krishna is telling Arjuna that sacrifices, they are approved by the Vedas. So how do we know what are the sacrifices? By hearing, by reading. When we take on the knowledge, then we can understand what kind of sacrifice we need to perform. Now, a question may arise: why there are different sacrifices? Because Krishna says there are different types of people. I usually give this example when we go to the grocery store. If I want to buy cheese, there are different varieties available, because I may like to eat only one kind of cheese. Others may like to eat another kind of cheese. So the options are given. Similarly, different types of workers are there, and that is why different types of sacrifices are mentioned. But if we use our intelligence and we take on the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, then we will understand how to perform a sacrifice using our mind, our body, and intelligence. Bhagavad Gita is it's a very high level, or you can say it's for high level intellectuals, those who are ready to use their philosophical intelligence to understand. First is, who am I? Most people don't even know who they are. Because they identify with the body. They have no idea about the spirit soul. So if we use our intelligence and try to understand the Bhagavad Gita, then ultimately Krishna says one will be able to achieve liberation. And then today's last verse, number 33, Krishna tells Arjuna that sacrifice in knowledge is better than sacrifice of material possessions. It is better to sacrifice with the help of knowledge. We understand and then we perform sacrifice. You see? Not just whimsically. So it's okay if one wants to give up material possessions. Oh, I want to lead a simple life. That's fine. But it should be based on knowledge. And all the sacrifices that we perform, they should culminate in transcendental knowledge. This is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. So again, the same point, knowledge is important. But more important is, from where are we getting this knowledge? Who is it who is giving this knowledge? Very important. And if we learned in chapter number 3 of this Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna gives us the purpose of performing sacrifices. The purpose is to please Krishna. When Krishna is pleased with our sacrifice based on the scriptures, then we automatically become happy. And Krishna told us even in chapter 3 that if there is no sacrifice, there is no happiness, neither in this life nor in the next life. Yagnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tad artham karma kantaya mukta sangha samacha. If you want mukti, if you want liberation, Krishna is saying all sacrifices should be performed for his satisfaction. For instance, want to eat. Krishna doesn't say don't eat. He just says follow the prescription given in the Vedas. The first thing is Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachiti, that Krishna says if one offers me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, he says, I will accept it. And in 17th chapter, we learn more in detail about what kinds of food fall in the mode of goodness. He accepts food only that is offered, the food that is in the mode of goodness. When we offer it with love and devotion, he blesses that food. And that food becomes prasadam, blessed food, which is beneficial in purifying our heart, our mind, our senses, our body, our intelligence. Prabhupada says even the finer brain tissues, so that we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. So the purpose is to please the Lord. And in the process, we also get happiness. For instance, I prepared the food, I offered it, and after that, I am partaking of that prasadam. So I am also enjoying the prasadam. That is happiness. So sacrifice needs to be performed, but it should be done in full knowledge. In chapter 17, we learn about charity. How we have to be careful to whom we give charity. Because charity also falls in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And if we do not give charity to the right person at the right time, at the right place, then we have to face reactions. We learn about that in chapter 17. So if one wants to break the cycle of misery, then one needs to perform sacrifices, but in full knowledge. And the purpose of these sacrifices is to remove the darkness of ignorance, to remove the miseries from our life. And that can be possible only when we take on this spiritual science. Krishna calls Bhagavad Gita as a spiritual science. And when we hear the Bhagavad Gita, then it's important to put it into practice. Otherwise, it remains theory. So theory plus application will turn into wisdom. Then we can be considered to be wise. because we have heard, we have understood, we have contemplated on it, and we have put it into practice. This is what helps us to become self realized. This will help us to control the senses so that we can come to that transcendental platform, elevate ourselves, you see, engaging in service to Krishna. And there are different ways we can engage in service, and not just service, but loving devotional service. You see, when the wife or the husband, they are, serving the spouse with love and devotion, then the happiness increases, the bliss increases. You see? Say, supposing my husband asked me to, make breakfast, and I make breakfast, and I just, bang it on the table, here, eat. That would not be right consciousness, correct? Because it's not with love and devotion. So when we are cooking also, the consciousness should be that I am going to prepare the best I can for the pleasure of the Lord, offer it to him, and then offer the prasadam to the family members so that everyone can benefit. This is sacrifice. This is called engaging in loving devotional service. And today is a golden opportunity for us. Today is the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, called Gaura Purnima. So we have the opportunity to maybe take a vow today that, okay, if I'm not chanting, I will start chanting from today. If I am chanting, I'm going to chant more from today. And if I'm already chanting more, I'm going to try to chant attentively so that when I am chanting, I am hearing those sound vibrations, because it's hearing of those sound vibrations that help us to cleanse our heart. And that is engaging in loving devotional service. Krishna tells Arjuna that people, they perform sacrifices as per their faith, whatever faith they have. Only when the faith unto the transcendental knowledge, only when someone has faith unto Lord Krishna, then one is able to advance. Just giving up material possessions without understanding, that is still being on the material platform, Krishna tells Arjuna. You're still on the material platform. There is no increase, there's no elevation to that transcendental platform. We're still on the material level, just giving up possessions. Like sometimes people say, oh, I am fed up of this life. I mean, I am tired, and I just want to give up everything and run away. Let me give up my job. I don't want my family. I don't want this, that. And let me go to some secluded place, some quiet place, and do some meditation. Do we think that, mind is going to help us be peaceful even if we are in a lonely place? No. This is running away from life. It's not going to help. So just giving up material possessions without understanding. You see, when we say simple living, high thinking, you need to understand what it means. Simple living means we can still be living with our family. We can still be going to a job. We can still be taking care of the family, but the consciousness is not of greed. I want this and I want that. No. Simple living. Whatever comes my way, whatever Krishna gives me, I am satisfied and happy in that. If the Lord has given me a house which is very small, it's okay. At least we have roof over the head. Simple living, which means there is no anxiety. One is not anxious to get more and more and more. No. And what is high thinking? High thinking means trying to understand the scriptures, trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, trying to meditate on the instructions of the Lord and putting it into practice. That is high living. I'm sorry, high thinking. You see? So when one, performs austerities, trying to control the senses, trying hard to chant the holy names of the Lord regularly, then gradually one is coming up to the transcendental platform. And when one reaches that platform, then all the activities that are performed by that person are spiritual. Just like I gave you example of eating. When we offer it to the Lord, the process of eating is spiritual. It's a spiritual activity. It's nothing material. It has no reactions, you see. So whatever we learn today, it all boils down to knowledge. Knowledge is the key. And this knowledge should be coming down from a strict disciplic succession, bona fide authority. And from whomsoever we are hearing the Bhagavad Gita should be in that strict disciplic succession. Just like we need a teacher in all different spheres of life. Even for spirituality, we need a teacher who can guide us. You see? We are very fortunate that we are in this human form of life. This human body is like a ship. And if we have a captain of the ship who can guide us across this material ocean, then we'll go on the other side, which is the transcendental platform, which is the spiritual world. You see? Why are we given this philosophical intelligence? Excuse me. We are given this philosophical intelligence so that we can attain the goal of life, so that we can become self-realized, so that we can understand who we truly are, so that we can rebuild our relationship with the Lord. You see, right now we have fallen out of love of Krishna. You see, because we are spiritual beings, we are part of the Supreme Lord, we are in love with him always. But since we have come down to this material world, we have fallen out of love of him. Now we need to get back to our original position, which is loving Krishna. You see, time is passing by very quickly. Did you realize that 3 months of this year are already coming to an end, right? March is coming to an end. And April is going to start. So much time is already passed by. Before we know, the year also will come to an end. So it's time to meditate. What have I done since January 1st up till now? Have I progressed spiritually? If not, how can I accomplish my spiritual goals? It's time to, meditate. Time is flying by. And before we know, a lot more time will be gone by too. Every moment. See, we started the class at 8 o'clock. We've already passed by 28 minutes. Gone. Can we go back to 8 o'clock Sunday morning? We cannot. It's gone. You see? If we have progressed, then let us meditate on how I can increase. How can I increase my spiritual activities so that I can perfect Bhakti Yoga? If we haven't, then let us meditate on what spiritual resolutions that I can make, so that I can fulfill those. Very important to become serious on this path. If we really want to save ourselves from the cycle of birth and death, if we want to save ourselves from the cycle of miseries, then it's important to sincerely understand the Bhagavad Gita and put it into practice. You see, the teachings that are given in the Bhagavad Gita, they are for everyone. Bhagavad Gita is teaching us a very simple way to attain liberation without giving up family, work, relatives, nothing. Just change the consciousness. And the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita is I am not this body. Go beyond this bodily concept of life. Think of the real us, which is the spirit soul. We are, very sincere and serious about feeding the body. What about feeding the soul? The food for the soul is chanting the holy names of the Lord. It begins with mantra meditation. So if we want to elevate ourselves to the transcendental position, then it is very important to sincerely and seriously take up this process of mantra meditation. We should chant every day, just like we eat every day, we sleep every day, we work every day, we do everything every day. Then why not chant every day? It is for our benefit. When we chant every day, then it'll be easy to go to that mode of pure goodness, the transcendental platform. Best way is to start chanting if we are not chanting. So this is the summary of all the verses that we covered today from verse number 29 through 33. This is what Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. So I'm going to end now and I'll open up for any questions or comments. But before that, I would like to chant 10 times the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And also, since I will be traveling, there will be no class next Sunday. And I'm really sorry about that. So no class next Sunday. So let us chant at least 10 times on this auspicious day of Gaur Purnima. Please chant with me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you all so much. Today is a very auspicious day. If you can, please fast. If you're not able to fast, then at least avoid grains and beans like you do Ekadashi. So fast like Ekadashi. And then you can break the fast at sunset, which I think today it's at 7:31 p.m., at least in Atlanta. So you can break the fast at sunset. So I'm going to end now. If anyone has any questions or comments, you're welcome.